We have with us Laimonas Talat-Kelpša, who is the Foreign Secretary of Lithuania, who is here to participate in Raisina Dialogues, and he has kindly agreed to talk to us about the India-Lithuania bilateral relationships. So first of all, I got to know that you also speak Hindi. थोड़ा सा हिंदी में अपना इंट्रोडक्शन आप दें.
थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी बोलता हूँ, लेकिन मुश्किल है मेरे लिए हिंदी बोलना. भारत मुझे पसंद है.
भारत इन्हें पसंद है. तो इस अच्छे नोट पर हम बातचीत आगे शुरू करते हैं. सो व्हाट इज योर एक्सपेक्टेशन फ्रॉम दिस ट्रिप व्हेन इट कम्स टू इंडिया लिथुआनिया बायलैटरल ट्रेड इज कंसर्न?
Well, it's sort of return for me after 5 years I've spent in India before in my former capacity as ambassador. But now, after coming here back, I see how much not only India has changed, how much our bilateral relations have progressed, and so many new positive developments are happening at the moment. One thing is this cultural people-to-people dimension has strengthened and consolidated. It's well established. I believe everyone in India now knows today that Lithuanian and Sanskrit are two connected languages.
Yes.
This year we celebrate 400 years since first Lithuanian arrived in India in 1625. And it's also 130 years anniversary when first Indian traveled to Lithuania. So that is one more additional reason to think and reflect how to use those moments for further consolidating this cultural dimension in our relations. So we have suggested to our partners in Indian government to proclaim the year 2025-2026 as year of people-to-people relations between India and Lithuania. So we look forward for this idea to taking some concrete shape, and with that we believe it will be a very strong signal to our communities, academic, artistic, intellectual communities, to also start looking deeper into those bonds that connect our two nations. Economically, we also see progress. Both exports from India to Lithuania and exports from Lithuania to India are growing. We have a trade turnover of about 360 million euros at the moment. We wish it were more.
Yes.
And of course it's possible to achieve more, bearing in mind the size and scale of Indian markets. At the moment the profits or the benefit is on the Indian side in our bilateral trade, so there's clearly a room for further expansion.
As you are a member of European Union, and EU-India FTA negotiations are going for last 12 or 14 years. So do you think that there should be one-to-one FTA between Lithuania and India? Is that possible?
Oh, well, it's technically not possible anymore, because European Union is governed by the internal agreement that trade policies are conducted on behalf of all 27 member states by the European Commission. So we have full authority to negotiate on our part, and whatever agreements will be reached in that area will also govern our bilateral trade relations. So we're investing heavily that this trade agreement currently under negotiation is best for Lithuania as well, and it promotes our businesses and our business interests in India.
Yeah, and you rightly mentioned that India and Lithuania, both countries have very strong cultural foundation, and almost 10,000 of Lithuanian words, those words have root in Sanskrit. So in this backdrop, how do you think that the cultural relation can enhance the economic relation and political relation, especially in the world where two conflicts are going on, and Slovakia, and India can come together, whether it comes to maritime security also, and a strong economic relation also?
Well, Lithuania, I believe you had in mind. Look, this idea where we started several years ago, promoting the understanding that Lithuanian comes from Sanskrit and this bond is still alive, today defines how Lithuania is perceived among 1.5 billion of Indian population. So it's part of our identity and part of our cultural promotion. Same Bollywood or yoga or Ayurveda has been doing in Lithuania for India. What we have been looking carefully at, that those established things do not become stereotypes, and we don't get stuck in the past understandings of each other countries. So we are very happy when modern Indian art and modern Indian music, modern non-Bollywood Indian movies are screened in Lithuania. It helps to shape the understanding that India is no longer an Asian culture, which it is. But India has also a very modern, vibrant dimension, which sheds a light also of how economy is changing. Same as with Lithuania. I mean, the Sanskrit connection traces us back 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago. That's nice, but on the top of that, if we help to tell Indian people what the Lithuanian writers are writing about nowadays, what the Lithuanian theater and musical producers are making, it's entirely different picture. So it gives knowledge, and then after this knowledge is shaped in the society, for businesses it's easier to identify what they want to do in this particular direction.
So apart from the bilateral relation, as Ukraine-Russia war is going for more than 3 years, and America is trying to make a peace deal. So how do you see India's stand on that? Because Lithuania has also its security concern. So how do you see India's take on it? And do you think that India can play a role in the negotiation, peace negotiation, or after the ceasefire? Do you think that India can play any role when it comes to Ukraine?
Well, that's one thing which we see as fundamentally flawed when framing what is happening in the eastern part of Europe nowadays is as Russia-Ukraine war, because it's not some conflict between two states or a war between two states. This is a more fundamental thing, an aggression of one state in Europe invading another country in Europe. So this is a fundamental violation of international law, of all principles of international law. And this is not a position of taking sides of Russia or Ukraine. It's rather taking positions, are we in favor of one country invading another, or are we against one country invading another? So I think on this page, India and Lithuania, India, European Union stand on the same page, on the same footing. Maybe differences are how we pronounce our position, and we believe that India has a voice that really matters in international politics, and that voice can be heard once it's pronounced. So our only wish is that if, and we do share this understanding that India believes in international law and the principles of international law and international harmony. So yeah, exactly. So whatever is necessary to say, India says that. And we saw this happening, for example, last year when Prime Minister Modi traveled to Russia and to Ukraine. That was critically important, had to travel to Ukraine, and how it changed the narrative of those days, that the global South, as it's called, or global partner countries are not interested in what's happening in Europe. It's majorly isolated European conflict, and let Europe deal with it. It is a major international conflict. We see North Korea sending troops and Iran sending its drones and weapons. So it's already a major international conflict which we need to stop, and we need to stop respecting the principles of international law.
Okay. Thank you for
Thank you very much. Thank you.